you're out there, you're riding, you're having a good time, and taking in the outdoors.
The fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning.
What's going on, guys? I'm riding the mighty Husqvarna TE250. This is an awesome bike, and it just got rebuilt, like I said earlier, but it's gained so much of its off-idle torque back. I mean, it's so controllable right off idle now. Before, I was having to do some pretty wild stuff to get power out of it. I was trying to use the clutch quite a bit and get it up into the mid-range. What are you doing, drone? Are you happy now, drone? I've got bushes all over me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's so much better. So controllable. Nice thing about motorcycles in general, and I know I've talked about this before, but they can be a good investment. Like, if you're just buying clothes and, you know, coffees all the time, that's going nowhere. That's literally just disappearing into the abyss after you use it. I mean, you can't resell clothes or your coffees or anything like that, but if you get a good used bike, you're probably not losing value on it for a long time, if ever. And some bikes, like I've bought this one brand new. This was obviously going to be a financial hit from the start, but still, a bike adds to your net worth. So even though this bike was, you know, it is worth less than what I bought it for, it always will be, I'm sure, but it adds to your net worth still. And if you buy a used bike, sometimes, in fact, most of the time for me, because I know bikes, like, I don't take a hit when I go to sell. So I've actually made money on a lot of my purchases. So bikes, like, that's a good argument for you guys who are married. You can go to your wife and say, hey, these are good investments. I have a really good deal on this bike. I'm going to ride it for a year, and then I'm going to sell it. So yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people kind of skim over or don't realize, is that dirt bikes can really be a good investment if you know what you're doing. And I'm not saying you should flip bikes. I mean, that's a lot harder to do for a living. I'm just saying, as far as breaking even on a motorcycle, it's really not hard to do. I know for sure that DRZ 400 that I have, I will at least break even on that if I go to sell it. And this is not me saying I'm going to sell that thing, because I probably won't ever sell it, but so I think it's a win-win. That's why I have so many bikes, is just because I can ride them for years and then resell them if I want to. It's really not a big deal to sell your bike. You gotta use your brain with this stuff too. I mean, you can't just go out and buy bikes blindly, and, you know, they have to be bikes that you could get something back out of. But, like, personally, I think a bike is part of its value is the riding that I'm doing with it. I think it's awesome that I get to ride these bikes around for so long, and then after I'm done with them, if I want a different bike, I can sell it and really not lose anything. So yeah, that's kind of how I view vehicles anyways. It's just something that does add to your net worth, and anything that adds to your net worth is worth it to me. If I really enjoy it. Like, clearly I'm a motorcycle enthusiast, so, like, I get a lot of value out of a bike just from riding it. Today I'm riding the GasGas TXT 280 Pro. This is a really cool bike that I haven't ridden very much this year, but I do plan on riding it more and more, just to practice my different techniques for enduro and get my balance down. And it helps with endurance as well, just because there's so many movements to do. And it really helps to muscle around the bike in a way that you would during an enduro if you were in a tight situation. And that's what really happens on these bikes, and it really brings that aspect of riding to you because you're forced to ride it so slow. I really enjoy riding the trails bike, but that's not the only type of riding. Obviously, I mean, the farmer that's in jeans and just work boots riding around on a motorcycle, that's where it's at. A lot of people used to ride that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm way more into riding, and I've gotten pretty immersed in the whole experience, so I like rocking the gear and all that, but whether it's street bike riding or dirt bike riding, if you're having fun, there's very few people doing this for a living. As long as you're having fun doing it, however you're doing it, that's where it's at. Yeah, as I was saying, I mean, there's so many different aspects of riding a motorcycle that you can enjoy, and the longer you're in it, it seems like the more of those you fall under, like being a motorcycle collector. A lot of people collect motorcycles. A lot of times that's from years of riding motorcycles, and just people enjoy riding that old stuff that they used to ride. Nothing wrong with that. On a street bike, that's a big part of my purchase reasoning, is just how the bike looks and how it rides. You know, street bikes are a whole nother animal. They have totally different power characteristics, whether that's, you know, just loads of torque like the MT-09 that I went with. It's got a cross-plane 3-cylinder engine in it, almost 900 cc's. But that thing is so much fun to ride on the street just because of the sheer power output, and it's just a totally different experience. And if I was riding a little 125cc two-stroke from the 70s, it'd be the same. I would enjoy it probably just as much. Just different types of riding for all kinds of different people, and there's all kinds of reasons for it. Some of that is to get out and get some exercise, keeps you sharp, but it has dangerous aspects to it as well, as everything does, I think. What I like about this is how it forces me to go slow, and it forces me to do the right technique for each style of riding. Like I was practicing pivot turns earlier. I've been practicing slow wheelies. It's really good for that stuff because it's really forgiving. There's no seat, so I can get out of the way of the bike. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out of here. I'm cold and wet, so I'm gonna start heading back. Catch you on the next video. Peace. Oi!